All right, strap in, everyone. It's time for your WWE deep dive. You guys send in some seriously wild clips and transcripts about the road to War Games.
Wild's put it lightly.
Oh, you know it. We're talking bloodline drama,
Okay.
shocking team-ups, and a comeback that I'm pretty sure blew the roof off the arena.
Absolutely. We're going to cut through all the smoke and mirrors and get right to the core of it, all the strategy, the character development, and
Right.
what these events could mean for the future of WWE.
Okay, so got to start with the biggest story here, the bloodline. Solo Sikoa calling out Roman Reigns, demanding he surrender, while Roman's not even there.
Yeah.
It's a bold move, especially with Roman MIA. It's like, I don't know, challenging a king who's off on a conquest.
It's a power struggle that mirrors real-life family dynamics, especially in those high-stakes families. This isn't just about wins and titles. It's about legacy, respect, and who gets to control the narrative. Solo stepping up while Roman's gone says a lot about his ambition and the cracks forming in the Bloodline's foundation.
And then there's the whole War Games situation. They need a fifth member, and the Usos threw out Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins as possibilities.
Right.
But Jay immediately shut those down. Looks like they're going in with just the four of them, which is, well, kind of risky.
Oh, absolutely. Teams with a numbers disadvantage in War Games, it's a tough battle. You're talking about a match that's all about punishment,
Yeah.
overwhelming the other side, but this could actually be a way to paint the Bloodline as underdogs, fighting against the odds, even within their own family.
Okay, but here's where things get really interesting. During the War Games match itself, Paul Heyman reveals their fifth member, CM Punk. The crowd went absolutely nuts.
It was insane.
It was a genius move playing off of CM Punk's history with the Bloodline, even if it was years ago.
Let me give you a little background. Back in, CM Punk was actually part of the early Bloodline storyline. So this return is a direct callback to that time
Oh, wow.
that longtime fans will immediately recognize. Like the writers are saying, hey, we remember this. We're bringing things full circle.
And CM Punk didn't just show up to pose. He immediately goes after Bronson Reed, giving the Bloodline the upper hand. Then there's this crazy sequence where they all hit a spear in sync,
Oh, yeah.
followed by Punk's signature go to sleep. The commentators nearly lost their minds.
This is long-term storytelling at its best. Casual viewers might just see a cool moment, but for those who followed the Bloodline story, this is the culmination of years of betrayals, alliances, power shifts. It brings up so many questions. Is this a long-term return for Punk? What's his role in the Bloodline going forward? Is he really an ally, or is there something else going on?
All right, so we've got shifting alliances and betrayals. Let's talk about another rivalry that's getting really personal. Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens. Cody is furious after Kevin teamed up with Roman Reigns, the guy who almost ended his career. The tension between these two is insane.
This story really gets at something universal. That struggle to reconcile past hurts with what's happening right now. On one side, you have Cody, driven by a sense of betrayal, the need for revenge. And then there's Kevin, who seems to be all about that survival of the fittest mentality. It's a conflict between loyalty and pure pragmatism.
Yeah.
It's fascinating to see how both these characters are wrestling with those complex emotions.
And then Kevin adds fuel to the fire by bringing up how Cody hesitated to hit him with a powerbomb during a past match, a move that could made Cody champ. But now Cody's blaming Kevin for siding with Roman. This feels like a classic case of hypocrisy.
It's brilliant, though, right? It forces you to examine both sides. Is Cody being a hypocrite? Is Kevin just playing the game to win? WWE's blurring the lines between good guy and bad guy here,
Yeah.
creating a conflict that's much more nuanced than just hero versus villain. It makes you really think about who you're rooting for and why.
Kevin doesn't hold back either. He throws out accusations that Cody's fixated on being the face of WWE and that he self-sabotages. Then he calls out Cody for not taking Randy Orton out after weeks of brutal attacks.
Yeah.
Talk about psychological warfare.
This is where things get really interesting. It's not just physical. It's a war of words meant to chip away at each other's confidence. Kevin's digging into Cody's past, exposing his weak points,
Right.
forcing him to confront his demons. It's like a verbal chess match, every word carefully planned.
Okay, so let's move on to the Women's United States Championship Tournament. Things took a pretty dark turn during the triple threat between Bianca Belair, Blair Davenport, and Chelsea Green. It was supposed to be all skill and athleticism, but then it got serious.
The injury to Jade Cargill is a huge development. It affects the tournament itself, but it also has huge consequences for the War Games match coming up.
Yeah.
It throws a whole new layer of uncertainty into the women's division.
Yeah.
It forces us to reassess how things might play out.
So it all happened when Jade seemed to accidentally collide with Bianca Belair. She was out cold,
Oh, wow.
leaving Chelsea and Blair to finish the match. Chelsea wins, but the victory is overshadowed by how serious Jade's injury seems to be.
From a storytelling standpoint, this unexpected event creates a sense of urgency and drama. It raises the stakes for everyone and forces Rhea Ripley's team to completely rethink their War Games strategy. They're down a member, facing a much tougher challenge now. Plus, it opens up opportunities for other superstars to step up and fill the void left by Jade's absence.
And just when you think things can't get any crazier, we get this totally unexpected attack involving LA Knight and Shinsuke Nakamura. Talk about a curveball.
Nakamura interfering in LA Knight's U.S. Championship match was masterful suspense building. He didn't say anything, but his actions said it all.
For sure.
Like watching a predator stalking its prey, slow and calculated.
So Nakamura distracts Knight, almost costing him the U.S. title, and then, after the match, he launches this brutal attack, going straight for Knight's injured shoulder. The look in Nakamura's eyes was bone-chilling. It wasn't just about winning, it felt personal, like a message.
This attack leaves us with a lot of questions about Nakamura's motives. Is he just taking advantage of a weakened champion? Or is there a deeper personal reason behind it? The fact that Nakamura stays silent just adds to the mystery. It makes us fill in the blanks and try to figure out what this means for LA Knight.
So we have a bloodline on the brink of implosion, a rivalry between Cody and Kevin that's about to explode, an injured superstar shaking up the women's division, and a cryptic attack that leaves everyone wondering what's coming next. It's like watching a wrestling soap opera with betrayals, power struggles, and alliances constantly changing.
And that's what's so great about WWE. It's not just athleticism. It's about storytelling, weaving together these complex narratives that keep you hooked.
And believe me, this is just the beginning. We've got a lot more to cover in this deep dive. Stay with us because we're going to break down the fallout from all these events and what it could mean for the entire landscape of WWE.
Welcome back to the deep dive into all the drama and twists surrounding WWE's War Games.
We left off with a lot of unanswered questions and some seriously high tension. The bloodline's on shaky ground. Cody and Kevin are locked in this battle for, I don't know, like the soul of WWE.
Right.
And Shinsuke Nakamura is lurking in the shadows, ready to strike. Where do we even begin to unpack all of this?
Let's dive deeper into the bloodline situation.
Hmm.
Wrestling factions have always had internal conflict, but what makes the bloodline so interesting is how much it reflects real family dynamics. You've got the head of the family, Roman Reigns, trying to maintain control while facing challenges from his own blood.
It's like a Shakespearean tragedy in the making. You know, Roman's the aging king facing threats from ambitious family members,
Right.
while the Usos are stuck in the middle, torn between loyalty and what they want.
The Usos' decision is going to be crucial here. Will they side with their brother and stick to the bloodline hierarchy, or will they break away and forge their own path? Maybe even joining Solo and starting a new era. It's that classic struggle between sticking with tradition and embracing change. And the outcome could have huge consequences for all of WWE.
And don't forget the wild card in all of this. CM Punk. His return has thrown a wrench into everything, and we still don't know what he's really after. Is he back to help Roman and make the bloodline even stronger?
Right.
Or is he playing the long game, waiting to strike when everyone least expects it?
CM Punk is a master strategist, and his history in WWE is full of examples of him playing both sides. He could be a huge asset to Roman, helping keep the bloodline together,
Yeah.
but he could also be the one to bring them down. It's what keeps things so interesting, keeps the audience guessing, which is key for telling a good story over time.
You mentioned CM Punk's strategic mind, and it made me think of what Kevin Owens said when he confronted Cody Rhodes. He accused Cody of being obsessed with being the face of WWE.
Yeah.
Almost to the point of self-sabotage. It was a harsh thing to say. But it got me thinking about what makes these superstars tick. What drives them? Is it just ambition, or is there something more to it?
It's a great question, and I think it goes to show how complex these characters are. Cody Rhodes has always presented himself as a hero fighting for what's right, no matter the cost. But what Kevin's saying challenges that image. It suggests that maybe Cody's ambition will actually be what brings him down.
It's like that saying, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. Cody wants to be the champion, the leader, the one to carry WWE forward.
Right.
But is he willing to compromise what he believes in or make sacrifices that could ultimately hurt him in the long run?
And then you've got Kevin Owens, who's always been more practical, more willing to embrace the darker side of ambition. He's not afraid to bend the rules or manipulate people to get what he wants. He's kind of the opposite of Cody.
Yeah.
And their rivalry really highlights that fundamental difference in their philosophies.
It's a battle of ideologies. It makes their matches so much more than just two guys fighting. It's about the very soul of WWE. Will principles win out, or will it be pragmatism that reigns supreme?
And this psychological warfare isn't just between Cody and Kevin. Remember Shinsuke Nakamura's attack on LA Knight? Going straight for his injured shoulder, that's both strategic and psychological.
Absolutely. It's not just about inflicting pain. It's about taking advantage of a weakness, both physically and mentally. It's about dismantling your opponent piece by piece until they doubt themselves.
And Nakamura's silence adds to the psychological impact.
Hmm?
He doesn't need to talk big or brag. His actions speak loud enough. He's creating this aura of fear, of the unknown, making LA Knight second-guess every move, every step he takes in the ring.
It's like a horror movie where the villain is always lurking just out of sight and you never know when they're going to strike. It creates this constant sense of dread and anticipation.
We also can't forget the impact of Jade Cargill's injury on the women's division. It's a setback for Rhea Ripley's team. But it's also a chance for other superstars to rise to the occasion and show what they're made of.
In wrestling, injuries are a part of the business, but they can also create compelling storylines and opportunities for character growth. With Jade out, who will step up and fill that void?
We might see someone like Dakota Kai or Io Sky take on a bigger role on Rhea Ripley's team. They've proven themselves in the ring, but this could be their chance to really shine and make a statement.
It also adds another layer of suspense to the War Games match. With Rhea's team weakened, their opponents have a clear advantage. Will they use it to their advantage?
Right.
Or will Rhea Ripley find a way to rally her team and overcome the odds?
It reminds us that in WWE, things are always changing. Injuries, betrayals, surprise alliances, all these things make the business unpredictable. And that's what keeps us coming back for more.
It's a soap opera with body slams. You never know what's going to happen next, and that's what makes it so exciting.
We've talked about the Bloodline's internal struggles, the psychological battle between Cody and Kevin, what Jade Cargill's injury means strategically, and the looming threat of Shinsuke Nakamura. But there's another element to all this that we should talk about. The role of the WWE Universe.
You mean the fans? How do they fit into all this?
The WWE Universe isn't just an audience. They're active participants in the story. Their reactions, the cheers, the boos, it all adds to the energy of the show and even influences where storylines go.
It's like a feedback loop. The performers feed off the energy of the crowd,
Exactly.
and the crowd responds to what the performers do.
Precisely. And these days with social media, the WWE Universe has even more power to make their voices heard. They can share their thoughts, speculate on storylines, even influence what the creative team decides to do.
It's like everyone's working together to tell the story, fans just as invested in the outcome as the wrestlers themselves. That level of engagement is what makes WWE so unique.
In the final part of our deep dive, we'll explore the potential long-term impact of these events. We'll analyze how these rivalries and power struggles might change the entire landscape of WWE, from title changes to new stars rising, and ultimately, who will come out on top as the dominant force.
All right, so we spent the last two parts breaking down all the drama, the betrayals, and the power struggles going on in WWE. But now, let's look ahead. What could all this chaos mean for the future?
Well, the landscape of WWE is always changing.
Right.
And these events leading up to War Games, they've really set the stage for some major shifts in power. We could see title changes, new contenders rising, and new alliances that could completely reshape things.
Let's start with the bloodline. It feels like this whole family drama is about to reach a breaking point. Solo challenging Roman has created a rift that might be impossible to fix.
Historically, wrestling factions don't usually survive these kinds of power struggles without some serious damage. It's like a battle for the throne.
Yeah.
Only one person can rule. In this case, that throne is the leadership of the bloodline.
Roman's been in charge for years, but even the strongest empires crumble eventually. Could this be the beginning of the end for him?
We can't rule it out. Solo's got the talent and the ambition to take Roman down. He's a force to be reckoned with, and he clearly wants that power. But then we have CM Punk. His return adds a whole other layer of intrigue that could tip the scales in either direction.
CM Punk is a master strategist, always thinking a few steps ahead. Will he use his influence to keep the bloodline together and support Roman's rule, or will he take advantage of the situation and try to grab that power for himself?
It's a question that's got everyone talking. Every word he says, every move he makes.
Yeah.
People are analyzing it for clues about what he's really up to. The tension is palpable.
Speaking of tension, let's not forget about Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens. That rivalry's been building for weeks,
Yeah.
and it's only a matter of time before it blows up.
Their feud is deeper than just a personal grudge. It's a clash of ideologies. Cody's the classic hero, fighting for what's right no matter what. Kevin's more about doing what it takes to win, even if it means bending the rules.
It's a battle of good versus bad, but with a modern twist. Those lines are blurred, making you question who to root for and what it really means to succeed in the wrestling world.
Their matches are going to be intense, both physically and emotionally. They're both incredibly talented and driven to win. The outcome could be huge for their careers. The winner might shoot straight to the top,
Right.
while the loser is left to figure out what went wrong.
We can't talk about the future without mentioning Jade Cargill's injury. Her being out of the War Games match has impacted the whole women's division.
Rhea Ripley's team is definitely at a disadvantage now,
For sure.
but it's a chance for other superstars to step up and show what they can do. This could be a defining moment for someone like Dakota Kai or Io Sky, a chance to really prove themselves and become major players.
It reminds us that in WWE, even setbacks can create new opportunities. Sometimes the best stories come from overcoming adversity. It's a testament to the resilience of these athletes.
And while Jade's injury hurts her team, it also makes the War Games match that much more unpredictable. Will Rhea find a way to lead her team to victory despite the odds?
Right.
Or will her opponents take advantage of the situation and win?
And then there's Shinsuke Nakamura. His attack on LA Knight was totally out of left field and left everyone wondering what's going on.
Nakamura is a master of mind games. He doesn't need to say anything. His actions do the talking. He's like a predator, slowly wearing down LA Knight's confidence.
Going after Knight's injured shoulder, that was a deliberate move. Take advantage of a physical weakness and use it to get in his head.
This rivalry is just heating up. I think things are going to get a lot more intense. Nakamura is playing the long game, and LA Knight's going to have to be at his best to survive this.
So it's clear the future of WWE is full of uncertainty, but it's also exciting. The balance of power is shifting. New stars are rising, and it's harder than ever to tell the good guys from the bad guys.
That's what makes pro wrestling so captivating. It's like a mirror to the real world, where heroes can stumble,
Yeah.
villains can rise to the top, and you never know what's going to happen next.
It's a world where stories unfold in the ring, emotions are high, and the fans are right there in the middle of it all.
And that's what makes being a fan so great. We get to watch these epic battles, cheer for our favorites, and just be amazed by the athleticism and the storytelling that make WWE a worldwide phenomenon.
So until our next deep dive, keep an eye out for all the twists and turns that are sure to come in the world of WWE. It's going to be a wild ride.